Good morning, students. Today we are going to start our chapter, The Last Lesson by Alphonse Daudet. And we know very well the story, the background of the story. The last lesson is set in the days of Franco-Prussian War. And we know very well that this war was held in the year 1870, okay, 1870 to 71, in which France was defeated by Prussia, led by Bismarck. Actually, at that time, you can say Prussia consists of three. You can say three nations. What were the nations? Germany, Poland, and Austria. Fine. So, France was defeated by Prussia, led by Bismarck. Okay, and at that time, Prussia consisted of three strong nations. We can say, and Germany, Poland, and Austria. Okay. So, in this story, we will come to know that what is the effect of post-war on school system. Okay, so the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine were captured by Germans, and finally German imposed an order, what, that only German language would be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine, and the new master was to come the next day in a school in Alsace to teach German in place of French. So the story tells the effect of this news on the life at a school in Alsace. Fine. So I have already given you this background in my previous video. So let's start with the chapter, The Last Lesson. I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of scolding, especially because Hamel had said, that he would question us on participle. Actually, the story is narrated by a French boy named French. Who is I over here? French. A French boy. Okay, fine. A French boy, fine, and he is lazy but sensitive and likes to play, and he dislikes studying French and hates his teacher Hamel as well. So I started for school very late that morning and was in a great dread of scolding, especially because Hamel had said that he would question us on participles, and I did not know the first word about them. For a moment, I thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. It was so warm, so bright, the birds were chirping at the edge of the woods and in the open field back of the sawmill. The Prussian soldiers were drilling. It was all much more tempting than the rule of participles. But I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. So in this first para, what is there? The narrator of the story is a young school-going boy named French. That morning he was scared as he was late for school. Also, moreover, as their teacher Hamel had announced the previous day that he would test them on topic of participles, and French did not know anything at all. He was more scared of being scolded, so he did not want to go to school. Fine. For a moment, I thought of running away and spending, you can say a day, and spending the day out of doors. It was so warm, so bright. So French had another option in his mind to miss school and enjoy the day out in the warm and bright weather. Okay. So French had another option in his mind to miss the school and enjoy the day out in the warm and bright weather. He describes the scene over here. There were birds chirping on the trees and the noise of Prussian soldiers doing the drill behind the sawmill could also be heard. Okay, could also be heard. So over here, it was all much more tempting than the rule for participles. Fine. Tempting means attracting. The scene outside was more attractive than the school, but I had the strength to resist. Resist means to stay away. Fine. But the scene outside was more attractive than the school. But French controlled the temptation and chose to attend the school because he knew very well that M. Hamel would reach at his home and inform his parents about the absence. Okay. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. The lost battles, the draft, the orders of the commanding officer, and I thought to myself without stopping, what can be the matter now? So, bulletin board is what? A notice board for putting up the latest news and communication. Have you seen in the you can say in your school is also we have notice board, and at Seeker also, in Seeker also we can see that near to the Kalyan circle we can see one LED is on what that you can say one LED is there. Okay, and you can see some of the advertisements are used to running on that screen. So same way, when I passed a town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. As French walked past the town hall, because he had to go to his school, because French had to go to his school, so he had started his journey from his house towards the school. So as French walked past the town hall, he noticed a huge crowd at the notice board. So French did not stop to look at the board because he knew very well what the war with Prussia had begun 2.5 years ago, and since then all the bad news like losing the war, occupation of the Alsace and Lorraine by the enemy, okay, etc., Persia, etc., had been communicated to the people through this bulletin board. So French did not stop over here. French kept on walking. Okay, and I thought to myself without stopping, what can be the matter now? So French kept on walking towards the school and thought in his mind that what news could have been put at the board now. Fine. Then, as I hurried by as fast as I could go, the blacksmith watcher who was there with his apprentice, okay, with his apprentice, fine, apprentice, with his apprentice reading the bulletin, called after me, "Don't go so fast, bub, you will get to your school in plenty of time." As he walked hurriedly towards the school, the blacksmith, who was also reading the news, had come along with his trainee. Apprentice means trainee, fine, called out to French, means he called French. What? कि French तुम इतनी जल्दी जल्दी कहाँ जा रहे हो from behind, and said that he did not go in such a hurry. अरे रुको रुको रुको, boy, don't go. इतना तेज तेज मत चलो. Because as there was plenty of time for him to reach school, because blacksmith watcher had already read the news. उसने news पढ़ लिया था. What? That German language was imposed on them. German language उन पे impose हो चुका है. He knew very well, and that's why he stopped French not to run for school. Not to run for school. I thought he was making fun of me and reached M. Hamel's little garden all out of breath. French thought the blacksmith was making fun of him as he was already late for school. But when French reached the garden outside the school, he was out of breath. Means he was not he was not taking his you can say breathe properly. वो अपना जो breath था वो properly नहीं ले पा रहा था. For okay, as he had walked very fast. Okay, so over here we have seen that French was in hurry to reach school. Okay, and moreover he was dread of scolding. उसको डर था कि आज वो पहले फर्स्ट तो वो लेट है स्कूल जाने में, and moreover teacher would ask question on participle and he did not know single word of participle. Fine, and on the way we have come to know that Alsace people were what, reading the bulletin board, and the news, bad news was there that the German language German language had already had been already imposed on them. उनके ऊपर जर्मन लैंग्वेज जो था वो इम्पोज हो चुका है. बिकॉज क्यों? बिकॉज अल्जेस एंड लॉरेन were passed into Prussian hands. Fine. Usually, so we have come to know French had reached school. Usually when school began, there was a great bustle which could be heard out in the street. The opening and closing of desks, lessons repeated in unison, very loud, with our hands over our ears to understand better. And the teacher's great ruler rapping on the table, but now it was also still. I had counted on the commotion to get to my decks without being seen, but of course that day everything had to be quiet as Sunday morning. So over here what happened that French describes the usual scene at the school in the morning. आपके स्कूल का usual scene क्या होता है? In the morning assembly is going on, and you can say some of the students are coming. Okay, some of the students are putting their bags on the desks and all. So everybody you can say everybody is busy in the morning. So usually French describe the usual scene at the school in the morning. A lot of noise created by moving of desks, children repeating their lessons, and teachers striking the tables with the rulers could be heard. Teacher जो है वो ruler से table को means sound करता could be heard. But now it was also still. Okay, but at that time what happened, that day was unusual. Why? As there was no such sound coming out of the school, and it seemed school was closed as it used to be on Sunday morning. As it used to be on Sunday morning means there was no rapping of rulers on the desks, no lessons were repeated in unison. Okay, no opening and closing of desks. So it was unusual scene, and it seemed like Sunday morning. Fine. Through the window I saw my but one more thing is over here you have to note down. I had counted on the commotion to get to my decks without being seen. Actually while coming from home to school, French had planned that he would take cover under the commotion, under this noise and all, and reach the class without being noticed. But that did not seem possible. Why? Because it was very quiet, बिल्कुल Sunday morning जैसा लग रहा था. So his plan was failed. Okay, fine. बिल्कुल शांति थी स्कूल में. Through the window I saw my classmates already in their places, and Am Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. I had to open the door and go in before everybody. You can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was. आप देखते हैं, can you imagine this thing when a student is coming late? So used to what happened that the other students make a laugh. Okay, make a fun. Okay, so same thing has happened over here, that when French peeped inside his class and saw his classmates, okay, seated, and Am Hamel, their teacher, walking in the class with the ruler made of iron placed under his arm. French feared a beating. Okay, but somehow he had to open the door. Franz was ashamed of being late and feared as a scolding, as he had to enter the classroom in front of everyone. So he was frightened, and moreover he felt shame also. But nothing happened. Am Hamel saw me and said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you." So it was unexpected for Franz. Franz found it strange as Am Hamel did not say anything. Okay. Means Franz was expecting that Am Hamel usko डांटेगा. Why? Because he was late. But Am Hamel did not say anything, and on the contrary, politely asked him to get a seat as the class was about to begin without him. Fine. I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. Not till then, when I had got a little over my fright, did I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat. Fine. Franz hurried to his seat. After some time, when he overcame the scare, means जब वो अपना उसने डर दूर किया and became comfortable, he noticed that the teacher had worn the best embroidered that day. Means teacher was in fine clothes, and you can say teacher was in fine clothes. The teacher normally wore it on the occasion, like and a little black silk cap, all embroidered, that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. Means teacher was in you can say fine clothes, and French wondered why. Because teacher normally had worn his best embroidered that day, and teacher normally wore it on the occasion like inspection and prize distribution days. So French was surprised over here. French wondered why. If that day was a normal day, then what could be the reason for Am Hamel to wear his special dress? He was not getting this thing. Besides, the whole school seemed so strange and solemn. And one thing he also noticed, that French felt that the atmosphere in the school was unusual and serious. Okay. Atmosphere was unusual and serious. So up to now we have read over here. Up to now we have completed, and you have to go through why it was serious why it was serious environment in the school. So please go through chapter up to here. Okay, in my next video I'll explain you what is the reason behind this. Okay, fine. And I hope that you are completing your work on time. And if you feel any query, please send me your you can say query on WhatsApp number. You all are free to call me on at my WhatsApp number. Thank you. Have a nice day.